Hello, this is Kelly Filgo presenting my functional unit project for our class. My subject is Kacey Darnell. She's the Executive Director of Career Services at Texas State Technical College at a system-wide level. Ms. Darnell has served at TSTC since 2006. She started as a staff assistant, moved over to the recruiting department. Then she moved to Career Services in 2012, where she's worked her way up to Executive Director, and she's held that position just about a year now. Let's talk about the role of Career Services. At TSTC, they exist to match employers to students. They use hiretstc.com as an online resource for both students and employees to get matched up. They also coordinate employee visits to campuses. They, of course, prepare students for the job search. Many of our students have not ever gone up for a high-level job before, so they're coming out of the service sector, so that might be a new thing for them. So they help with resumes, interview skills. They even have a clothes bank for students who might need something to spiff up their wardrobe. The differences that we see across institutional types for career services at a tech college like ours, it's pretty easy to get employers to come to campus for a large job fair. There's a tremendous demand for tech employees nationwide right now. Millions of positions are open and ready to be filled. At traditional universities, a career services department might be more focused on just bringing in the big name companies, Fortune 100 companies. And then at MSIs, they're going to leverage their alumni who are out in the industry or in the business world to come and hire their students, and also many companies might be looking to specifically increase their diversity hires, so they would target themselves at MSIs. There's some historical implications I want to talk about. The student career services goes all the way back to the beginning of the student personnel movement, from the document that you're going to hear about on Wednesday night. From my team, the student personnel point of view from 1937 specifically mentions cultivating a sense of students' occupational plans and how education will relate to those goals. Now, also since then, and the nearly 100 years since we've been doing a career services, student services position, about 100 years ago, all they had was binders of job listings that had to be manually updated, very time-consuming, very difficult to wade through, and very easy to miss out on opportunities. Today, fast forward, students are connected through employers in a multitude of ways, through social media, 24/7 access to data. It's changed everything about how this job gets done, about how colleges help students find jobs. It's pretty exciting. The groups that the career services will serve, obviously students. At TSTC, place more Texans is one of our established institutional goals. So they do that by helping the students develop the job-seeking skills and understand from day one that the whole point of being at TSTC is to go out and get a job. So they work with the students starting in their first semester. They work with employers. The career services uses a customer service approach with the employers. They're treated like clients with the goal of creating hiring pipelines. We don't want to just fill one position for a company and never see them again. We want to develop business relationships so that they come to TSTC first for all their hiring needs. Some areas might not think of where they serve: faculty and department administration. At our college, programs are evaluated partly, but a large part, on their ability to place students in jobs. The career services takes a huge burden off of the programs. I personally use that myself in the aviation maintenance program. They also serve the state of Texas. TSTC is a state agency, not just a college system. By getting our students employed, the state gets back their investment in the form of increased wages and job stability. And of course, that is good for our economy. And what's good for our economy is good for Texas. And then it serves TSTC itself. By increasing the number of students placed in high-paying jobs, we're more likely to increase the funding received by state legislature. It also translates into curb appeal. It's very nice to be able to say to students and parents that we have a 90 plus or 95% plus or even 100% job placement rate in our programs. Matter of fact, we have a money-back guarantee on our 5 most hired programs right now. If you don't get a job in 6 months and you follow the check boxes on the criteria, you will get your money back. Pretty cool. Now, we have a lot of unique needs of diverse student groups. Our average age is 24. It's higher than most colleges. And the range on that is all the way from traditional college students in their teens and early 20s, all the way up to people in their middle ages who are re-careering. And of course, we have students older than that, but they're kind of outliers at that point. There's not that many that would age over their 50s. Many of them are from socioeconomically fragile households. They're kind of on the edge of being able to go to college in the first place. And also we have a lot of veteran transition issues. Ms. Darnell said that they specifically have to get a lot of training, de-stress training for veterans, and have had some report that they will experience PTSD during interviews because they're so stressed out. Let's talk about skills and competencies. Ms. Darnell said there's no specific degree for career services positions. She holds a BA in communications, which she actually earned while she was a TSTC employee. There are industry certifications, though, that she says are more important, if not mandatory. She requires that everyone on her team hold the GCDF and the CCSP listed here, and then as an organization, they belong to NACE. There, of course, are soft skills that are important as well. Customer service abilities. You have to be flexible in dealing with people, all the way from college freshmen to CEOs of big companies. You have to be organized because they're constantly moving. They're a very busy team. You have to have good public speaking skills, and of course, you have to look professional at all times. You have no idea when you're going to be representing the school to someone who just walks in the door. There are typical roles in the program. There's the executive director. She manages the entire team, and she reports all the data and success and challenges up to the vice chancellor level. There's our campus leads. They have offices on 4 of our 10 campuses, and then there's also the staff spread out throughout the state. That they are the ones who organize the employer visits to the programs and also lead the student education efforts. Org structure. The CS offices are statewide or dispersed at the 4 major campuses, like I just said. Primary offices at Waco, and executive directors on top of the whole team. Then upstream from Ms. Darnell, she reports to the Senior Vice President of Industry Relations. He reports to the Vice Chancellor level, the Chief Marketing Officer, and the VCCMO reports to the Chancellor. So she's not too far down from the Chancellor. She meets with him often. Challenges that they have are building the CS brand within TSTC. 4 years ago, this was a pretty minimal program. Pretty much just did resume writing for students, and it was tacked on to many other duties. When she joined the team, they really began to change the way they do things. And now, as in this last year that she's been executive director, they've really brought the professionalism and the level of service and quality up tremendously. I'm very happy. I'm one of their customers, and I think they do a great job. Budgeting's a concern. They have a sort of constant need to defend the budget requests, because that's typical. Every program is always having to do that. And as a result of less budgeting, they sure could use some more staff. That's why they are all so busy. For the CAS standards, they are on target on just about all of them. The only one that she feels challenged in is the budgeting, like we just mentioned. But they're on mission. They've got a thoroughly designed and well-built program. They're well organized. They're well trained. Highly ethical. They're appropriately governed within the system. They seek diversity in the people they serve and also on their own team. They leverage technology tremendously. They've got adequate facilities across the state to have their meetings, and they are very open to assessment. Matter of fact, they invite it. The key resources that they have are association journals. I mentioned the associations a little while ago. They're also a member of the Austin Regional Manufacturing Association and the San Antonio Regional Manufacturing Association. And then they also follow and watch major Texas City Chambers of Commerce websites to see where they can get plugged in and make contacts. They also use ONET, which is a database on careers and salaries, so they can help make good calls for students and help them guide them when they're applying for jobs. So the question of, is it worth it? She says it's absolutely worth it. Ms. Darnell never misses a graduation, at least at the Waco campus. We do have a lot of graduations statewide. upwards of 30 graduation ceremonies a year. So she comes to all the Waco ones at least. The students that the department serves are very grateful. We're getting students into some great jobs. Many of them are who graduate are the first in the family to go to any kind of college, and their families are very joyous at the ceremony. It's quite a party. And then TSTC exists to raise people into a career where they may be in control of their financial situation for the first time in their lives. As a faculty member, I know that's very rewarding, and I would imagine actually putting these students in the actual jobs that's going to help them make a lifelong difference, not just for them, but for their kids and their grandkids and on and on. Facilitating that transition is a thrill, she says. So thank you for listening to my presentation. This again is Kelly Filgo, and it's been a pleasure. Hope you learned something.